Hey guys, and welcome to 10 Things You Didn't Know About Chrono Trigger. Number 1. Bird and Bat Skip. To skip the birds when you first enter 600 AD, along this bridge, as long as you're near the top, you can actually skip this encounter if you're on two specific pixels, here and here. You also need to make sure that you're holding up and run. If you hold up without running, you will still trigger this encounter. Same thing with the bats in Hecarim Cave. There's a part of the ground here where it actually slants downwards, and you want to hold straight down. If you run straight left, obviously you hit them, and if you try and hold down left, you're going to hit the bats. Luckily, if you hold straight down and make it nice and smooth, you can skip them and not even know they're there. Number 2. Holding X to attack. Now this is actually something I didn't know about until I started speedrunning the game, but if you put your memory cursor onto memory, when you get into a battle, you can hold X to attack at any point, and it will put your attack in frame perfectly. It's actually pretty cool, and with the memory cursor, you only need to remember if it's on tech or item, and you can actually get through your techs and items a little bit faster. Pretty nifty, and you get to use more of your face buttons in battle. Yay! Number 3. Conveyor Skip. Now, when you go to Geno Dome, you've probably tried to carry this spark along against the conveyor and just realize you're just about there, but you can't quite do it. And it seems like it's pretty impossible. However, if you have near perfect movement on a lot of the corners, holding diagonals in the proper spots, you can actually make your way all the way over there without having to do the whole roundabout to get the conveyor to flip around. Now, you do skip a good chunk of the dungeon, but it does feel pretty cool when you do manage to beat the system. Number 4. Glitchy Robot. As well as in Geno Dome, if you so happen to get into this particular battle, you'll be able to see the robot that you're supposed to save after doing the conveyor section against the wall. Now, if you do this fight and then you go over to the side, you'll actually see that his sprite gets all sorts of janky. Now, you can refresh this just by going off and on. It's just a graphical glitch, but I find it every once in a while, and I always think it's just awesome sauce every time I see it. Number 5. Dragon Tank Hardlock. Now, this isn't something that's very fun to hit, but if you're holding left, run, and you're mashing the text, you can manage to hit a spot there where you close the text box a little bit early, and you trigger the cutscene as well a little bit early. Now, this may seem a little bit weird already, but what actually ends up happening is the screen will pan over, the dragon tank will come onto screen, and then it will pan back to your party as it's supposed to. The battle music will play. Because dragon tank isn't on the screen, we can't fight what's not on the screen. Number 6. Frog Spekkio. This is something that you normally don't find unless you're trying to do a low-level run or a speed run. But if you come into the end of time with your party average below level 10, you'll actually find Spekkio in his weakest form, a frog. Now, when he asks you if he looks pretty strong or weak, you better make sure that you tell him he looks pretty weak, because I'm gonna show you the fight afterwards, and he is not the master of war. I'll say it. Number 7, music glitch. Now, this is also another glitch that can just happen at some point throughout your gameplays, if it does. What ends up happening is, during a transition, you'll hear that the music just cuts at some point. And anytime you try to hit any sort of screen transition whatsoever, the game will just crash. That's it. That's the tweet. I'll play it again so you could listen to it, and I'll crank up the music. You'll hear the music just stop as I'm about to leave, and from that point on, there's no saving this at all. You can't go out and save, you can't do nothing. Are you sure? Did I just tell you to do it then? Game? Number 8, trial guard skip. Now, this isn't anything more than either a speedrun trick to save a couple of seconds, or I think it's just pretty funny to see happen. When you're leaving the prison, you can actually walk around the cutscene trigger for these two guys, and then they won't actually catch Chrono and Luca trying to run out until you make it almost to the door. Best part about this is everyone is running in place, because I think these first two guards actually trigger the NPCs to actually chase after your characters. So everyone's just kind of running in place trying to catch you, and this is when you realize the guards aren't really that competent here. Number 9, Lab 16 skips. There's actually a fun little thing that you can do in Lab 16 that there's not a lot of other places you can do it. Basically what happens is, if you open up a text box and have another one on top of it, the game can't give you an encounter. So if you were to, I don't know, pick up a chest and then, say, try and get a tonic stolen from one of the rats, you can walk right over top of the encounter triggers, and the game can't close the text box for you to get it started, so you can run right over top of them. Number 10, TP duplication. Another bug in this game that is completely unavoidable. Anytime you learn a tech, the amount of tech points that you got to learn that tech in the fight that you learned it in, you will also get that applied to the next tech. So you can actually get twice as many tech points learning one skill, and it can make you learn a lot more techs a little bit quicker if you do it properly. Like, I don't know, learning it off of the rubbles where they give you 100 tech points. The reason I say it's unavoidable is because unless you try to go and learn a skill off of 1 tech point a piece each time, it's just gonna happen. It's a part of the game. You may as well try and abuse it and save yourself a little bit of grinding time. You know what I'm saying?